next up, we'll have a big head over to Nashville and have a big QuaranPalooza welcome for Kate Klim.
Hello. Hi. So, John, I feel like I should have specifically asked you to not put me after any super good piano playing. I was like, come on, man. But Craig, if you're listening, that was fantastic. For a moment, I got to forget to be nervous about how good you are at piano and then immediately remember. But hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. Um, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to hear all these musicians. This is the first time I've done one of these that runs slightly ahead of schedule. Look at you, John. Tight ship. Awesome. Um, so I think I'm going to start with this song. This is from an album I released last year, and I wrote this song uh, kind of in a little bit of a similar time period to what I'm experiencing right now. This particular run was I've got two amazing little boys, and right after the birth of my second child, as happens, life was very lifey, and I just wasn't making music. And for the first time, maybe since I was like 4 years old, I didn't complete a song in 2018. And I just remember being like, this is a pilot light that I just need to keep slightly burning, and it's going to come back. And it did. And right now, it's not so much. I'm writing, I'm in a songwriting group. Maybe not prolifically, but right now I'm kind of going through a similar thing with performing. So that's why I'm excited that I'm doing this today. But anyway, this song was about that kind of return to music. Somebody's like definitely typing and not muted. But it's kind of like drums. Springtime was easy, everything's green and bright. Gathered the branches and built you a nest. Summer was blooming, everything bends towards light. Little by little turned golden and red. I'm never ready when the cold comes around to close all the windows, button things down. Your heart was skyward, your place was southbound. And hey, little songbird, you flew away. Little songbird, I always knew that you would come back when the cold clears. And oh, little starling, I didn't know, didn't hardly how I would miss you in the mornings. It's so quiet here. It's so quiet here. Beginnings are simple, none of the cracks have shown. Everything's possible, everything's fair. You get to the middle, yeah, that's when your cover's blown. Some days you make it on a wing and a prayer. And hey, little songbird, you flew away. Little songbird, I always knew that you would come back to me somehow. And oh, little star, It's your song in my head. Wasn't gone, it wasn't dead. It just had to make its way back north. Hey, little songbird, you flew away. Little songbird, I always knew that you would come back to me somehow. You were holding down the clapping for this whole thing. It's a brave man who leaves his mic unmuted the whole time. So thank you.
No, I was muted. That was Craig. He apologizes.
Oh, no. No, sorry. I was not trying to say that you were the typist because I was clearly looking at you. I just meant I like that you are clapping unmuted and keeping it going. But yeah, I guess it makes sense that you muted during the songs. You're a classy guy, John. I'm going to sing, this is another one from the album, and then I have one or two newish things. This one is about a story, true story. I remember somebody had sent me a link being like, have you heard this? It was just a cool historical article about a man named Hiro Onoda, who was a World War II soldier for Japan, so not our side, who was sent to an island in the Pacific, and they said to him, go there, just don't surrender. Like, very broad directions, which he took very seriously, except they forgot to tell him that the war ended. So he stayed for 30 years. And at some point, people tried to tell him, and he's like, nice trick, guys, no way. So I remember that story had been in my head, and then I was at a writer's retreat and just kind of staring at a blank page, like, what am I going to write about? And I often, if you know my music, write about heartbreak. And I was like, let's write about not heartbreak. And I'm like, well, there's this guy. So I pulled up the Wikipedia page and read his story again. And then for me, usually a verse paints a picture and a chorus kind of gives it meaning, not in all songs, but in the ones I tend to write. And I remember getting the chorus and not knowing what the chorus was going to be, and it just kind of spilled out, which is always nice when that happens. And I realize it's about, sometimes we cling so tightly to this identity of who we think we are or what we think our job is supposed to be, that even with like huge denial, we cling to that just because we don't know what we'll be without it. So that's what this song is. It's called Nobody Told You. Sent you off to the jungle, the Pacific. Said goodbye to your mom and you left. You thought you fought for the good guys. Always think that we're the good guys. Only order was to never give in. Nobody told you when the war was over. The war was over. No one told you for years. When all you know of who you are is a soldier. Well, if you're not a soldier, why are you here? Why are you here? For 30 years you kept up all your defenses. Lived every day like you were under attack. And you were mean, you scared the villagers senseless. And you shot and you burned, and when they fought back, they tried to tell you that the war was over. The war was over, but you would not believe. When all you know of who you are is a soldier. Well, if you're not a soldier, Tried to tell you someone showed you the headlines. You took one look and you decided they were fake. They dropped you letters from the sky, from your family, and when that didn't work, they wondered what would it take. Somebody tracked down your former commander, who was the owner of a bookstore. He'd retired in '58. They flew him down. You said you promised to come get me. He said, I'm getting you now. I'm just 30 years late. Nobody told you, but the war is over. The war is over. It's over and done, done, done. Nobody told you, but the war is over. The war is over. The war is over. The war is over, and the other guys won. Thank you. Such an ending too. Imagine doing that for 30 years and it's like, and also, you lost. So, what was I gonna? Oh yeah, this one is not from my last album. I'm gonna take one drink of water. That's sponsored by Columbus Brewing Company, but this is water.
They brew water?
If they do it real wrong, I guess so. It's actually sponsored by Mucinex, but there we go. That's the water. So this song is going to be on the upcoming album, and in exciting news, we literally just yesterday confirmed the band and the engineer and the producer from my last album for January, so it's happening. I'm somebody who likes a little bit of advance notice so I can plan and worry. So January's great. Going back in the studio in January. And it's going to include this song. And then the last album was a lot of songs of heartbreak. Also, I know I am chatty. When do I play till again? 2:35, right? My time, 12:35. Okay. You'll just have to do like a shepherd's hook if I just start talking. But anyway, so the last album, when I started writing it, it was about like life and change. By the end, it was definitely about a divorce. This album is a lot of songs I wrote through that process, towards the end of that process. And I was describing it to somebody yesterday, my friend Shanna in a dress, who's amazing. And I was like, this album's going to be more of like, ooh, painful, but it's going to be okay. So I had a lot of it's going to be okay songs. Realized this one's not as much that. This one's just kind of sad. But this one is about, as I was reconciling how sometimes there are things you just want to be true or happen, and they're just impossible. I have a section of my brain that I call the lottery ticket section, where sometimes you just take 15 minutes because it's been a hard day and you just imagine how you would spend the money. And you're like, you know it's not going to happen, but sometimes it's fun to just escape and think about it. And when going through a heartbreak or a change, sometimes, even though you know what's actually happening, you let your brain imagine for 10 minutes. But what if it had ended up the other way? So that's where this song came from. Want the sky to be silver, want the square to be round, want the house I grew up in to be untorn down. And I can pray all about it, oh, but what would that change? When you dream of what can never be, you learn to stash it away, and you'll do fine without it. You won't think much about it, and then it sneaks up on you sometimes. Want hard times to pass me, want the good times to stay. I want those letters from college stories were told, and I can talk to myself sensibly. Yeah, I do that a lot. But the dreams, they don't listen. The dreams, they don't care if they make sense or not. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, John.
Do you want to do one more?
Sure. I had a just in case song.
Yeah. Cool.
Cause I guess I haven't done a live stream maybe in like a year or something. And I always, every time I'm like, oh, I got the squeaky stool, and then I always promise to replace it, and then I haven't. So now it's just part of the charm is my squeaky stool. I'm gonna do something that doesn't make this I'm gonna regret, which is just there's a song and I was warming up and I played it and I'm like, I've never played this for humans, and I hadn't played it in like a year, but I feel like playing it. So it's just my feminist ghost song. I went to a haunted hotel in Chattanooga. They did the hotel room tour, and then I wore a bowler hat, and he's like, and this is where she was murdered. We heard that she was flirting with men in the bar in the 1920s. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We spent all this time talking about how maybe this woman was stepping out, and not a lot of time talking about how this was domestic violence and she had her throat slit in the bathroom. And so I didn't like the way they told her story, so I wrote this song. And this is going to be on the new album too. And also, I don't think I've ever played it in real time. It's only been recorded once late at night. So do you get lonely? Do you get bored? Do you just watch the tours come through? And are you angry anymore? How much do they get wrong about you? You're the ghost that haunts these halls. They say, oh, you open drawers and walk through walls. They say, I don't believe that stuff at all. Oh, but in your case, I wanna try to. You were newly married, had just left home. He brought you down to Tennessee in search of work, and then he left you there all alone. Think maybe you just wanted company at first. You're the ghost that haunts these halls. They say, oh, you open drawers and walk through walls. They say, I don't believe that stuff at all. Oh, you so much for having me, John.
Thanks for doing it. And you should play that song more often. That was great.
I'm going to. It was good. That was the first one. I had to get over playing it for humans who are listening live. So thank you for being part.
We do what we can.